Oh god, this is by far the worst part about playing ranked, is having to dodge. Whenever you get 3 or more people who are auto-filled or playing a champion that they've never played before in ranked, it's a dodge. And if you're diamond and up, if you have 2 or more auto-fills, it's typically a dodge as well. What you're seeing here is a back-to-back dodge, putting me on over a 30-minute wait timer. It's really frustrating having to dodge back to back because of the long wait timer, just because everyone on your team doesn't want to play a champion that they normally play. They want to play a new role and a new champion for the first time in rank, thinking they're miraculously going to be scrub new. Sitting at gold 1, we're already playing against diamond players, so just because we are gold, don't think that the people we're playing against are absolute garbage. This game was objectively a rough start, so I'm going to go ahead and show it, that way we can all learn from it. I'm playing against a Volibear jungle, so I want to do a 3 camp cross path into him, so I'm going to start with my bot lane mirroring his side that he's starting on, then I'm going to do my Gromp and then move into my red buff. I've been using this pathing a lot lately since I am efficient at taking my camps without taking too much damage, and since Kindred is a lot stronger at 1v1s than most junglers, this is a really good path to beat junglers in low and mid elo. It sets you up to outmaneuver them and kill them on their buff, putting you really far ahead and putting them behind to set you up for even more plays. If you aren't going to wait for the enemy jungler to show up, make sure you lay your ward over the wall. That way you can see them coming, so you'll know if you need to smite it or not, and you can also prepare for their arrival. Volibear sees me and reacts really quickly, so I don't get a chance to do too much damage, and I end up chasing him, putting myself in a really bad spot. Whenever he reacted that quickly, I should have just let him go. Instead, I get myself pincered by the Jace. I failed to break that blast cone since I was trying to ambush the Volibear. Once Volibear flings me, I move away from Jace to the left side. However, he flashes the wall and I end up dying. This puts me in a really bad spot. Luckily though, tank junglers are very weak in the early game, even if they do get a kill on you. My early game has taken a hit, so I'm not going to rush out and try to force a gank, because if Volibear shows up, it's going to turn out very badly and we're going to lose. So instead, I take my wolves and work my way over to my scuttle crab when I see Volibear on the left side of the mini map. Since I know I can get this scuttle for free, I'm not even worried about the Jace. And then at that point, I want to back and get my red smite jungle item and still not force any ganks. If bot lane was really gankable right now, I'd go for it, but since I'm behind, there's honestly no point. Might as well just back and play it safe and work onto my golems and raptors. While taking golems, I see that 𝐒𝐿𝐹 is pushed up really far, which should be a very easy gank for us, and I also see that Volibear is on the mid bot side, so I don't have to worry about him, so this is a safe gank. I put my mark on the 𝐒𝐿𝐹 and she just blew her flash, so all I want to do right now is get down my slow. I slow her, auto attack, and I do end up making 2 mistakes here. I stop moving for a moment on an auto attack and we end up not getting her. Something that kind of annoyed me is that Darius didn't want to use his flash, but at the end of the day, if I didn't make those 2 mistakes, we would have killed her, and if Darius didn't stand there and tank cannon minion, then he wouldn't have died for no reason. End of the day, this Darius player is a god. I recall, start my Gromp, and then my blue buff spawns back in. This is called your camp cycling. I'm not wasting time running through dead camps. I'm always showing up at my camps as they're spawning in to maximize my efficiency. While taking blue buff, I know Volibear is most likely near bot lane since his red buff just spawned in. That's where he started, so I don't want to be the first one to show up there. I don't want my abilities to be down, Volibear run in and kill us all. So instead, I'm just going to start on scuttle crab and play it safe, keeping a close eye on the mini map in the meantime. Since Volibear is ahead of me, I don't want to try to invade him on his red buff either, because that could turn out very poorly very quickly. I'm skeptical of where he is at this point, so I ward the tri-brush, and sure enough, he's waiting there. I figured he might have moved on to the top side of his jungle, which would set up a gank for me. He runs out when my bot lane kills their support. Huge mistake. He gets himself killed and puts their Kai'Sa in a very bad situation. Lux was playing overly aggressive because she saw Volibear. I jump in, shoot her down, drop my ult, and time it perfectly to walk out of the turret and survive. Volibear made a huge mistake doing that engage after I had already damaged him, and after Lux had already killed herself expecting the Volibear gank. He should have just backed off and him and Kai'Sa could have lived. This is why it's not good to give up in League of Legends when it's early in the game, because oftentimes enemies will make big mistakes as well that'll let you back into the game. Jace got a kill mid. He stayed mid with no HP, very little mana, and I just picked up another kill for free. And now I am far ahead of Volibear in CS and kills, and I can start asserting my dominance. For now though, I'm just going to take my red buff and golems. I haven't spent my gold yet, so I don't want to invade him, and at the same time I didn't want to back, because if Volibear left base and ran straight to my red buff, he would have been able to steal it before I got there. I saw there was a pink ward in the dragon pit, so I told Yuumi to break it by himself. That way I could sit off to the side and wait for someone to try to stop him. This is a really good tactic to employ. Oftentimes enemies will be really greedy in defending pink wards, and they assume you're being greedy trying to break it. Look for opportunities to take advantage of these situations. Instead of both of us breaking the pink ward, I predicted the situation in my mind. It took a little bit longer, but we did end up getting a kill. And off of that kill, we can take Dragon, and I can start moving into Volibear's jungle and asserting my dominance. Before I do though, I see Jace is pushing up. It's a really easy gank. He even flashes but gets nowhere close to escaping. I stay to help LeBlanc push the wave to give myself extra golden experience. It's also a great opportunity to figure out where the enemy jungler is. Oftentimes when you shove in the wave like this, the enemy jungler will show up like what Volibear is doing right now to catch the wave, so now I know where he is. And he's probably going to come to his blue buff after that, so I can take the scuttle in the meantime and wait for him. Instead, I see 𝐒𝐿𝐼's pushed up way too far top lane, and she's kind of low on HP, so it's a really easy solo opportunity. I Q to try to dodge one of her abilities. I think she missed her soul catcher. I couldn't quite see it though, and I just pick her off. Once again, I am ahead at this point, so I can go in for bigger plays. If I was still behind, I would have just let 𝐒𝐿𝐼 be, so that way she didn't kill me. I see Volibear move to his left side of his jungle, but I don't want to go over there since my LeBlanc is in base because I'll get pincered by Jace, so instead I'm going to play it safe and just go for the turret and minion gold. Since I am so far ahead, I felt comfortable rushing a Phantom Dancer since it will give me overall more damage than a Black Cleaver. I take down the Volibear, Luck steps up way too far, and Kindred has constant dashes, so I just chase her down and kill her as well. Now me and Jinx can move onto the turret. We do run out of minions though, so instead I'm going to go work on Volibear's camps. Kai'Sa just shot her bolt at me, so I know she's watching me. I know I can easily solo her though because I'm so far ahead and my Phantom Dancer is up. I dash onto her, just plow my autos and conquer right into her. She even heals and ultimates, and I still kill her even though I didn't have my red smite or flash up. And I was pretty much half HP, so that gives you a pretty good idea of how far we've come back in this game and what a great position we are in to carry it. And the main reason we're here once again is we didn't try to force any initial ganks after we fell behind. We tried to farm up a little bit and look for easy opportunities. Lux is dead and I see an enemy bot lane, so I'm gonna wait in the wolf camp that I just took. I figured an enemy would walk right into it and I can solo anyone at this point. Sure enough, Kai'Sa walks in, her heals back up, it doesn't even matter. I kill her, and now I'm gonna go ahead and just stay top lane since I already have a few teammates mid and one bot. We can separate a lot of pressure this way, and if the enemies don't come for me, I can even lay my herald and threaten an inhibitor, or if just one comes for me, I can easily kill them, or even if two come for me, if Yuumi plays it right, we could probably take them. Just like Volibear, Jace is very readable. After he's done pushing the wave, he wants to go mid lane to help his team. I can see that in him, so I'm just going to wait here in the bush with Yuumi. There's no reason for me to walk over there, it might be warded. Sure enough, Jace walks by and puts himself in a terrible situation. We end up chasing him down because Yuumi ult is busted. I know people don't think it's strong, but it is actually really gosh darn strong. I lay Herald mid and Jace wants some sweet vengeance. LeBlanc is dead, so Volibear is looking for an engage. I drop my slow on him and I'm holding on to my Q just in case I have to jump backwards. I end up jumping backwards to help out the Jinx with the 𝐒𝐿𝐼. We shred into him pretty hard, but I'm out of mana and Jace is blowing me apart pretty well. Even though I am low on HP, Yuumi is keeping me stocked with shills and hills. I keep backing off though since I am out of mana. It's hard for me to re-engage, but Jace is chasing me. I know he's chasing me, so I'm going to wait in the bush. I still have my ult. I have my red smite. If he walks in, I'm going to kill him. It's as simple as that. They end up backing off, probably figuring that I'd gotten away, but no, I stayed. I'm still going to help my team because I have Yuumi helping me out. And this was the last fight before the enemy surrendered. It was really that easy. Just keep your head in the game, make smart decisions, and when you are behind, guys, it is so important that you don't keep making poor decisions because then you will lose. If you're behind and you keep making the right decisions, it is so easy to come back. The enemy's reactions were really funny. They figured out I was smurfing, which is actually kind of rare. Alright, let's jump into game 2. Alright guys, in this game we are going up against a Rammus jungle, and if there's one thing you should know about tank junglers they are very weak and easy to kill in their first clear because they get low on health and their 1v1 capabilities are weak. So you want to try to mirror them and then do a crossover jungle route. So in this case, I'm mirroring Rammus by starting with my bot lane since he's most likely starting with his. Then I'm going to take 3 camps total and move over towards his next buff. So of course my 3 camps are going to be the buff with my bot lane, so in this case blue buff. Then I'm going to take my Gromp, and then I am going to take my red and then cross over into his blue buff where I intend on killing him. Depending on the jungler, you might be able to get away with doing one more camp. What I prefer to do is get there a little bit early, that way you can set up your vision and possibly take one of their camps before you kill them. It's always better to be a little bit early than it is to be too late. Here I know they saw me, or most likely saw me since that ward just broke as I passed it. So I laid down my ward right there to see Ahri. I see Renekton here, so I can't really take the blue buff. So I'm trying to push him off of it and drag it away towards my Cho'Gath. I do still have my smite up. It's important to save your smite in these situations. Ahri is low, so I'm going to hop the wall and try to pecker her. She won't really be able to help out too much now. We still haven't gotten eyes on Rammus, so I'm still being somewhat cautious. We do see him right there. He's very low on health, so I feel confident pushing Renekton away and staying near the walls. Cho'Gath comes in with a great knockup. I flash the wall. I still have my smite to heal, and I'm just going to continue to auto him over the wall. I'm in a very good position. I back away because Xerath wasn't quite there yet. I'm going to start kiting the blue buff, and then Xerath does finish off the Rammus. I'm in a really good spot to take all of this now. The enemies get hard pincered here, and we end up killing all of them. Now I'm free to wipe out Rammus' blue buff, his Grom, and then move on to the Scuttle Crabs. A lot of times in those situations, oftentimes the enemy laners won't help the enemy jungle, but in this case, if my laners didn't come, I still could have gotten away and just moved away from the blue buff and then looped back around to kill the Rammus once he went for it. This did turn out better, however, since the enemies came and my teammates came, and since Kindred's the stronger early game champ and I had more HP, we easily won that fight. This is what I'm talking about looping around though. I'm not in a great spot since Renekton can easily rotate. Rammus thinks I ran away, and now I'm going to loop back around. Most likely Rammus has wasted his abilities, and now I can just jump out on him. As you can see, I'm shredding all of his HP and it's setting up an easy Gromp for me. Rammus isn't too happy about this, so he's coming back in hot with his Aftershock. Renekton's following. Thank God my Cho'Gath is coming as well. If Cho'Gath didn't come, I feel like I still could have gotten away, but we really wouldn't have been able to get that kill on Rammus without him. And now I can work on these Scuttle Crabs. Rammus has respawned at this point, but since I still have a lot of HP and I'm a higher level than him, and Rammus is a weak early game jungler, I feel comfortable crossing over to get the second one. In this case, Ahri does cut me off. I W, hold on to my Q to dodge the Ahri charm, and then for some reason I path backwards. I don't remember if that was an accident or if I was just having an absolute dingleberry moment, but I end up dying. Thankfully my bot lane does rotate and we pick up 2 kills off of my death, so it's really not that big of a deal. Of course, I come back for the Scuttle Crab once I've spawned. If Rammus comes, I'll just knock his head in since I'm so much more fed than he is. Keep a close eye on our buff timers, my blue and his red. Right now, I'm trying to time it to where I can kill him on his, so I'm looking at my blue very diligently. Just turned yellow, and his red is still on gray. Yellow is 20 seconds or less, gray is a minute or less. So right now, I'm counting until his turns yellow, and then right when it turns yellow, then I know how much time I have. It was roughly 10 seconds, so I know that right when my blue buff spawns, his red buff will be up in approximately 10 seconds. So I should have enough time to make it over there and kill him on it, or if he doesn't get there very quickly, I could just take it and then kill him. If you pay close attention, right as I'm killing my blue buff, then we see his red buff officially spawns in, so I definitely still have time to cross over and hop over the wall. Janna does follow me in this case. I used my sweeping lens and there was actually a ward, so they technically know we're here, so we're in a bit of a hurry now. Luckily, Rammus doesn't seem to be here. He's probably in base or farming a random camp. Unless you're in really high elo, most junglers don't typically show up right on their buff right as it's spawning. So my next goal is to cross over through mid, maybe try to get a kill. Ahri does back off though, so I just plan on knocking her turret a bit and then trying to kill Rammus on his next buff and securing my red buff. My red buff will be in 20 seconds or less, so I'm just trying to help out with the turret a little bit while I can, get some extra gold, and help out Xerath a little bit. I also crossed over into Rammus' jungle to take a look at that mark. He unfortunately did take it. I'm not surprised though, since he didn't show up at his red buff. It was highly likely he was in my jungle or he was farming his opposite side jungle, so I knew it was a bit of a long shot. As I'm taking my red buff, I'm keeping an eye on my lane, seeing what I can gank after my red buff. It doesn't look like a whole lot for my position, so I'm just going to continue to farm and play around Rammus' blue buff spawn. I can either kill him on it or just take it depending on if he shows up. Once again, Rammus doesn't show up. I think he's weary of me killing him on his buff, so he's just conceding them altogether. That's fine. I'm denying him a lot of gold and experience and getting myself a lot of nice map pressure. I see Renekton is possibly diveable top lane, so I come in this tribe rush to wait for Cho'Gath to push another wave in, and there is a pink ward. This is actually good news, so I just acted like I left, waited. The enemy will walk up and try to re-ward it as you break it, and then put heaps of damage into him, which then set us up for an awesome dive opportunity. This happens all the time whenever you break a pink ward in their backside tribe rush, whether it's top lane or bot lane. It's very common and a strategy you should definitely put in your playbook as a jungler or a ganker. It's very predictable. I backed up my items and was farming my Gromp when I saw Rammus working his way towards bot lane, so of course I show up, and since I'm ahead, there's really no way for them to win this fight. Ezreal has no pressure to land Q, so he's just throwing them out. I'm going to try to work my way around and kill them behind the turret. You'd be surprised how often this works. When the enemies should have just simply ran away, they oftentimes linger and end up getting themselves both killed. These are situations where the bot lanes would love to blame their jungler, in this case Rammus, when in reality, at that point when I killed Rammus, if Nico and Ezreal would have both just abandoned their turret, they both would have actually lived. But instead, they're both going to die and we're going to take their turret anyways. While we were breaking the turret, I kept an eye on the minimap, and that's when my blue respawned, and then of course Rammus's red spawns a little bit after it. As you can see, it was just yellow and then it just spawned in, so it's a really good timing for me and Janna to make our way over there. It's a little bit risky since the Ezreal and Nico should be up. However, I still have my ultimate, so if things get too nasty, we should be fine. I end up having to bounce because the Ezreal ult shreds too much of my HP though. Rammus got killed in that scuffle, so I was trying to heal up and then hop over the wall and take his red. But Nico was messing with me, so instead I'm just going to focus on killing her. I save my ultimate until Ahri throws out her spells, so I eat the Ahri charm, Ahri Q, the Nico spells, and of course I am still alive. We get the kill on Nico, and at this point I'm a little bit low to go for the Rammus red since he's on his way anyways. He could probably solo me since I am this low, so instead I just settle for my blue buff. In the mid game, sometimes your best play is acting like a human ward. In this case, 𝐒𝐿𝐴 is pushing top, Cho'Gath is getting caught out. There's no way I can make it to Cho'Gath in time, and if I go to help 𝐒𝐿𝐴, it will give the enemies a lot more information to how to counteract our current play, especially since Cho'Gath is dead. They're currently teleporting to the turret, so I figure the enemies will try to cross over through here to pincer my teammate, so I just wait. Sure enough, someone comes by and it's Rammus. I dash right into his Q to cancel, have Conqueror, rip right through him, and Xerath secures the kill. Now that Rammus is dead, I can freely move into his jungle since he's a CC machine, and the nice thing about being in the enemy's jungle is it puts you right behind them. I was right behind the Nico and Unranked. I do overplay my hand here a little bit. Ahri does heaps of damage to me, and then Ezreal blasts me. I didn't quite have enough mana for the ultimate, but I also could have flashed away. I just got a pick on Ezreal in the mid lane, so I run straight to my mark. Sure enough, Rammus is on it, but I have my slow on him, my W down, and then 𝐒𝐿𝐴 thankfully cancels his Q. We kill him pretty quickly, and now I can move on to help the rest of my team. The enemies are fleeing and not really contesting any objectives or pushing out too far up on the map. I'm feeling bored, so I'm going to go ahead and hop this wall. Ezreal foolishly tries to engage me. I have Conqueror, so I get up my full stacks. I could have easily soloed him there, but Janna definitely does help out with her shield and ultimate. Renekton doesn't quite know what he's doing as we push into the turret, and then the enemies promptly surrender a few minutes later. Ending this episode, we are Platinum 4 with an 80% win rate on the fast track to Diamond, baby. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. My name is KingStix, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.